For the newborn baby, 7 feeds in 24 hours is important. 7, maybe 8, but an average of about 7. It's really important to stimulate hormone production, for the breasts to fill, for the baby to feed, and to keep that cycle going. So the baby will feed from one breast, rest and digest, feed from the second breast, and then rest to digest that, and then the baby will wake and feed in another however many hours. They fit in 7 in 24, and they feed according to their own caloric and hydration needs. So they'll wake when they're ready. Feed from the breast you last fed on this time, rest and digest, and then feed from the second breast. And you just repeat that cycle, and what that does is synchronise the pituitary gland, the breasts and the baby. When the baby is a little bit older, these things might change. Night feeding is important for the newborn baby. It's also important for the young baby. It's different when the baby might be getting a bit older, around 6 months, and being introduced to foods. The baby will regulate its feeding and sleeping time. If we try to regulate it too much for them, we might not find that it'll work easy. So if you're used to your baby's cycle of feeding and sleeping, and a baby sleeps longer, that's fine. You'll know that that's starting to change. It may be food, it might be just that the baby's going through a growth and then a plateau time, a growth and then a plateau time. Things change. When the baby plateaus, things slow down. The important thing is, if the baby, whatever age, misses a night feed or more than one night feed, that you are aware that the breast can still fill, and during that time you run a risk of having mastitis, particularly, or pooled milk in the breast. And the way to prevent that is, if you are feeling that the breast is too full and it's not going to be used, it's better to express some milk off for comfort to prevent the complications. The missing of night feeding is often around the time when you'll see a woman with mastitis. Night feeding, depending on the baby's age, is very important to breastfeeding, and it's very important to keeping the release of hormones in a cyclical rhythm coming, so that your breasts refill and the baby gets enough volume over the growth period of time. So the baby's growing, and then it'll plateau for a little while, then it'll grow again, and then it'll plateau for a little while. So the new baby and the young baby needs to feed around about 7 times in 24 hours. When they get up to 4, 5, 6 months, somewhere around that age, you might find that they'll miss one feed at night, or they'll miss one feed during the day, but often at night, and that's then the beginning of them changing their process of feeding. That is also a time when, if that night feed continues not to be stimulated, or your pituitary gland, your ovaries will wake up and you'll start ovulating and menstruating, and that's quite normal. May not get a period straight away. That might not happen until 2 or 3 months down the track, but you could be well ovulating in that time. And if women are not on contraception and choose not to be, that's the time you need to be aware that your ovaries could be, working through that time. So just one little tip, just in case you don't want to be pregnant.